This is Walk Like a Mailman. We've got Griffin, aka Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walk,
He's in
walk, walk, walk.
he's he's in our Southwest studio, and I'm MC Jeffro. I'm in the Northwest studio, and of course, MC stands for mail carrier. How have you been, Griffin?
I've been all right. How about you? I'm actually
Hey,
asking how you
someone
are for once because
someone
apparently
read
it's
the
in the
rundown
rundown that I
today.
never ask you how you're
That
doing.
was my two-part intro thing that I put on the rundown. Number one, I'm testing to see if you still read the rundowns, and then I was also I kind of it came to me as far as like when was the last time that I asked Griffin like how has he been, and then he actually gave a damn and asked me how I was doing. So
See, we
yeah,
usually get this out of the way before we actually start talking on and recording. So
yeah,
I
and
don't usually ask on the air. I usually just kind of ask
yeah,
beforehand if
you,
I do, because sometimes I don't ask. I'm
you've done
honest
it,
about
I believe, once. I think you did it like on our second episode. You asked me how it was doing on the actual show, and I just wanted to let you know it's too late now, buddy. So I had to
it.
actually put it on paper. I had to put ink on paper, or like text on message to actually make you ask me how I'm doing. So it's too late. You're never gonna find out. So let's
Okay.
move on to housekeeping.
Moving on.
Moving on. Yeah, I could be in a very deep, dark spot right now, and you would never know because you don't ask. You don't take the time to find out. Here. Anyway, so housekeeping. If you get a chance, please rate, review, subscribe, follow all of the options if they are available to you. It just takes a second, and we much appreciate it, and it means a lot to the show. It helps the show stay alive. If you can spread the word either around the station to other carriers or friends, visit us on social media. We're on like pretty much all the platforms. It's pretty easy to find. Just search "Walk Like a Mailman," and
And find more options that we haven't utilized yet because we need to grow
yes,
this thing.
yeah, no, and whatever to interact with us, and uh, just as a foreshadowing, we do have a guest on the show today. So if you want to come on the show, or if you have any comments for the show, or if you just want to interact with us, just email us at walklikeamailman@gmail.com. But we do have our second guest today, and this one we actually all three of us, or the two hosts, will be present in said interview.
Yeah,
So
I made it this time.
yeah, yeah, and oh yeah, all old and upcoming episodes are posted on YouTube. We are actually getting a lot of interaction that way as well. So if you haven't taken the chance and maybe you want to listen to the show on YouTube, you can check that out or check out. We've been pretty active on that as well. So that's a move along here. So I was actually we like moved back the meeting time, right? So I was like reading an article, and I was reading about NASA, and they're doing this Dragonfly mission. Have you heard of this, Griffin?
No, no, I have no
No.
idea what NASA's up to.
Yeah. NASA, they're up to things, I swear. No,
Well,
they're
yeah, they send rockets up into space. Of course, they're up to something.
yes, they're yes, pun. Anyway, very
That was
fun
a very
pun.
bad joke.
Fun pun. Yeah, so they're actually going to launch in 2028. They're working on it right now, and they're going to launch. They say it's like a car-sized drone. So that just seems like it's crazy that they have that, but yet there's things that they still need to accomplish here on our planet, but yet they can come up with a vehicle that's the shape and size of a car that it can actually travel to Saturn's moon, right? Titan.
Yeah.
So it'll actually reach Titan in 2034, and it's costing $3.3 billion to send this vehicle to the moon of Titan. So the reason why that this is like kind of more interesting from my perspective than others is that they say that this moon like resembles the primordial methane rich earth, and it could offer clues to the genesis of life. That was like a quote from this article I was
Someone
reading,
watched
right?
Wrath the Con recently.
Yeah.
We gotta
No,
get the
it
Genesis
just
machine.
yeah, no, but it's the thing is it's the closest thing in all of our galaxy or all of our planetary system or solar system that resembles like an Earth that's actually like a habitable like place outside of our own planet, right? So it's pretty much the next stop after we get done destroying this one, it's next on the list. It's like the tally mark. Earth.
Pretty much. I mean, this is like the plot
Earth.
line to Interstellar over here.
Yeah, and so yeah, so one day we will actually be delivering mail on Titan. So that's where this is headed. So I wonder what zip code Titan would be. So, but anyway, moving along. Let's check the hot case. You want to check the hot case, Griffin?
Yeah, let's check what's in the hot case.
Hot. Yes.
HO triple T case.
Yes. Triple T. Yes, that's listen to what tea we have today. The tea is that there's these phone scam texts. I'm sure you're aware of these, right?
I mean, I get scammed texts all the time, but I don't always pay attention to
Exactly.
what they
That's
are.
that's exactly what the direction is. But a lot of them are a very popular one is ones that seem like they're from USPS, right? So there's like a litmus of like different types of these like scam texts. I get them all the time from I think a one that's not as popular now, but the one that like comes to mind for me is that it like will say like, oh well, you won't believe the new vehicle like laws that are coming out in 2025. Click here to find out. And it's like these like weird like clickbait things that pop up. But I have actually received one from USPS or the faux USPS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the ones that actually appear in your texts are called smishing, right? Because phishing is what's like most commonly tied to like emails, right?
Yeah.
Like and that's why like the scam or the spam folder has been the advent of the spam folder to where these emails, these phishing emails should be collected and filtered and go into that spam folder. But I guess like the new evolution of it is ones that are texted to you, and the reason why they're called smishing is because it's SMS, which is like another like acronym for text messages. So you combine SMS and phishing, it's smishing. So these um happened as recent, I mean, like as far as like my interaction, it's like last month, right? I was approached at work about this exact issue. So someone had texted like a resident that I was dealing with about a package that had like a forwarding issue, and basically they were saying that they needed compensation or money to complete the process to deliver the package, right? So this lady, like, I'm like delivering mail, and all of a sudden she's like stops me and she asks me, like, was this legit? And like, for whatever, like, I felt like it shouldn't have gotten to that point. Like, as soon as I see things like this that are like in my text, I'm like, of course not. This is not. I emphatically replied, no. Like, it's not legit, right? So, unless you opt in or you apply for like updates for a specific package, like you can do that like when you like go onto USPS.com. I even have like the USPS website or app, and then I know a package is coming. I'll type in the tracking number, and then it basically offers like a notification process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll basically like, as soon as it like reaches like a newer facility, basically like the thing that I've mentioned before is like the auto scans. Once there's a scan on the package, it basically forwards that information to me because I've set up specifically that notification, right? But like, unless you choose that, and if you choose that, then like it should be pretty straightforward that that's what you're receiving, right? So there will be no text messages or messages like sent to you from the post office outside of that. And then also informed delivery is another one, just kind of like sidebar there. But it's just, but those will look like a certain way that will look completely legitimate compared to these scam texts, right? So in other words, like, I mean, like the post office is in possession of pretty much like the world's like largest database, like also known as like a mailing list. I mean, we literally, like, the post office literally has everybody's address and everyone's name in a database, and they're like connected to each other, right? So if we're going to reach out to somebody about a package, about any kind of information, or we want to contact any person, and I've seen it, there's issues, and even with like the postal service, or not the postal service, the USPIS, the inspection service, they need to get a hold of someone because of some kind of like scam or some kind of like mailing issue, as far as like theft goes, or some kind of like mail fraud, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
need to reach out to somebody. It is a very dense and like sorted like process to try and get these people's information. But if they needed to, they can. It's all a part of like our database, as far as like being able to reach out and find these people. It's not there just for anyone's whim, like anyone at the post office, we want to like contact you. But I mean, that's what we're there for. We are federal employees, and we are like trusted with this information as far as like people's names and their addresses. So if we do want to reach out to you about a package, and we need, some additional information to make sure you get said package, we are not going to send you some shady looking text message, right? So I was like, I think the most popular one is like, the wording goes like this, right? The USPS package has arrived at a warehouse and cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address in the link. And then there's like some shady looking link in the text, right?
Mm-hmm.
That does not look like something that the post office would send you. I'm just, and I don't get, like, I don't know. But I think it's one of those things where it's like they send out a mass thing, and then even if they get like 1% of people that are like gullible enough to click it, then that's still like thousands of people, right? So, but I'm just, uh, and then once you like read the articles or like you go to like the different places that show like what is happening with these like these spam or scam messages, the USPS and we on Walk Like a Mailman warn you, do not click on any link in these messages. And also, this is very important as well. Do not provide any personal or financial information to these scam or spam or smishing messages.
Don't give your
If
financial
you do feel
information to
like you
anybody.
have been targeted or you have any questions, I mean, you can contact the post office. Like this person that kind of brought it to me, that was like a perfect example where it was like she didn't know, instead of like just entering her personal and banking information, she actually went to her like mail carrier and was like, and I actually like take pride in the fact that she values my opinion as far as like I don't think it should have to come to that, to where like some random mail carrier is like, no, don't click on that, don't put your information in. But if it comes to that, I'm honored that she felt that I was a person of high esteem, to where like I could tell her like, no, don't do that. And then like that like was like kind of like peace of mind to her, to where she like now knew not to click it, right? But if you do like feel like you're being like once again targeted, or like you have been or seeing a lot of these messages, you can reach out to the USPIS. You can even email them at spam@uspis.gov. Once again, that's spam@uspis.gov, right? So once again, it's just, the reason why I bring it up is because it's obviously tied to the post office, but I just, I don't want to sit here and like, just be like a person like griping and like telling everyone what to do as far as how to like live their life, and clicking links and stuff. And I think most of them don't actually just need the personal or financial information. What you're doing is they're sending out a link, and then once you click that link, it's kind of like a virus for your phone, and it'll basically go through there and it'll send like personal information like passwords and basically like it'll send a lot of harmful information to the person that had sent you that link, right? So yeah. So what do you think about that, Griffin?
Don't give your information to anyone.
Yeah. Well, yes, yes,
To
yes.
anyone. I mean, don't pay your bills. Don't give the credit card information or your social security number to anyone. Keep it to yourself.
Yes, yes. Just lock it in a vault, and then never and pay everything in cash.
Put it in a lock.
Although there's a lot of places that don't take cash anymore, and it's like, what are you trying to hide? Oh, trying to get rid of that paper trail. Okay.
You criminal, you.
Yes. So, yes, as previously mentioned, we do have a guest on the show today. So, looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome, awesome times with Trev from Columbus, Ohio. He's kind of like a newer CCA slash PTF type
Don't spoil
guy.
the interview, Jeff.
Yeah, no, but I'm just like giving it like a heads up, like, hey, like we got a awesome. He was definitely awesome to come on the show, and it's going to be good times. We're going to, talk to him about what it's like to be a newer employee of the post office. So, but before we head to break and then get back and get into this interview with Trev from Columbus, Ohio, I wanted to say this week's sponsor is Spiderwebs. What do you think about when I say Spiderwebs, Griffin?
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, doing whatever a Spider-Man can.
Yes, it reminds me of the Gwen Stefani song. It's like, sorry, I'm not home right now, walking in a spider web.
Oh wow,
Anyways,
you did that was like I was like almost a 30-year-old. That song is like 30 years old at this point, Jeff.
I know it's insane.
Yeah.
I remember that like it wasn't 30 years ago. So anyway, the reason why I say spiderwebs, and that's the reason why it's this week's sponsor, is because it's spring, and as it gets warmer, when you like walk along, especially with like carriers, like we are going on like we go through like on our line of travel trying to get from house to house, but we tend to use sometimes either like shortcuts or we'll use like uh, stepping stones that kind of not a lot of like traffic goes through a lot of these areas. And what will happen is you kind of get through like a tight spot every once in a while, especially like you'll know that like that kind of like that shortcut that not a lot of people know. And then you'll kind of go like back behind a house or by the side of a house and you'll get into like these tight quarters. And then once you pass through it, and this week especially got a little bit warmer here in Seattle, and then all of a sudden you'll get like a spider web just like right in the face because you like pass between two branches or you pass between like a little bit of a tighter area, and all of a sudden like a spider web will just slap you in the face. So it's kind of, yeah, it's something that you don't really think of, but then once you start delivering, you start to realize that you'll go through like some certain areas of your route or a lot of routes, and then you'll get attacked by spider webs and spiders and bugs and everything, especially now that spring is coming and or spring is here and it's a little warmer and all the creepy crawlers and critters are out there. So just beware of the bugs and insects as it becomes a little bit more prevalent. But this week's sponsor is spider webs. So hopefully you don't get caught in one, and you can come back and listen to the second interview that we'll have, and we'll continue to walk like a mailman.
See you after the break.
Okay, welcome back to Walk Like a Mailman.
Walk.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's get to the point at hand here. So we do have our second guest. This is actually a first for the show. This is a guest that I am not previously connected to or have like any kind of relationship to, as far as like the last one was my trainer actually. So
and I don't know either.
Yeah. And it's a first on the show is in both of us, the hosts from the co-hosts from the show are actually present in the interview. So today we have Trev. Trev, are you there?
Yeah, man. What's up? How are you?
Hey, we're much better
Doing
now.
Great. Better internet connection than on our earlier recordings today.
Yeah. We have.
Yeah, you guys can hear me fine, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it sounds very clear and very awesome. And we definitely appreciate you showing up and taking time with us.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you bringing me on, man.
Yeah, no, this is what this whole show is about. This is exactly, I mean, this literally couldn't personify more what we really want to do on this show is like
this is what the show should be. This is exactly what I think could take this show off. Yeah, I think this is a great direction that you guys are going in.
Yeah, and when connecting through to you, I hope you don't mind me divulging, but connecting with you through like social media and whatnot. This is why I wanted to bring you on, because you seemed like you were very you felt strongly about trying to just help the show grow and help the show continue in this type of direction. So I'm getting to like the little brass tacks here. So you are a mail carrier, correct?
Yeah.
And where are you a carrier? Like what city, state, maybe like general area would you say?
So right now I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good old Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, so Blue Jacket fan we have here, right?
Yeah, man, yeah.
So how is it that how long have you been a carrier? Let's just run down the questions, the intro right here.
Yeah, man. So I applied in September, and it took really a whole month for my application to even like get reviewed and like etc. But
Yeah.
I got hired on the 13th of October, so it's only been roughly what 7, 8 months, something like that.
Oh, so you're
Yeah, and
really new into
you
the
are.
game still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still a PTF,
Okay, so
which makes it a little bit more interesting. But
and you're definitely like tapping into exactly like things that we've it's so insane to like, so like the last guest we had been like in for 25 years, and then we got you that's like on the other side of it where you're just getting your feet wet with it. So
right, right.
and then talking to you about like, so you are a PTF, you're not a CCA, right?
No, yeah, no. They're done hiring PTS for the city of Columbus.
Wow.
They're back to the CCA model now. Um,
Which is
so
like what is going on?
yeah,
Why does it go so far back and forth like so many times? I can't,
exactly.
I don't get
And
it,
we're
but I'm just
and
glad that
Columbus is already so short.
so as far as like you know moving along here, and once again I'm trying to just get the groundwork here, and then we'll continue with a little bit more of like the interesting stuff. What would you say like the biggest pros and cons of working for the post office, especially being so new into the game here?
Um, it might just be my station, but my station is like garbage. It sucks. Um, there are a lot of cons to being a mailman, to being a carrier. And one of those is job stability. When you really think about it, there is pretty much no way you could get fired unless you do something extreme. And it's like it's great. I mean, you can hold your job for as long as you want. You can be independent for most of the day. You're only in the office for maybe an hour. Then you're away from management the whole day. Um, there's a lot of cons to it, like talking to the people, getting used to the people. Um, but I think I've had more cons than pros, I would say.
Oh,
Um,
that is sad to hear, but it does like you were kind of to like piggyback off of what you're saying. I think it does range from what station and station to station type of experience there is, So, but is Griffin, do you have any other questions or question you'd like to ask or?
Well, I mean, let's go a little positive here. Do you have platypuses at your station, and have you seen any out in the wild?
no, I don't
You,
think I,
you
I
know,
don't think we have any of those in the
you,
area.
you know what he's referring to, right? Those like energy efficient ones. Have you seen pictures of those?
Are you talking about the new mail vehicle? Yeah, mail vehicles.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about it, and it was the whole
Oh,
name was
dude, I
platypus.
no, I heard that Oakland was supposed to be the first station ever to receive one of them, but that was all I heard. That was the last thing that our city has ever heard about them, and I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't even know that they were released yet.
Yeah, no, I've seen that like like they go to like it's like one station, like one per district or like a couple per district, and they like drop them
Really?
off, and they're still like test running them. So but it was just, I guess that's what our
Have you
real
seen any in person?
no, and but I see people taking pictures of them and posting them on like socials, and I'm all like,
Yeah,
I talking
I've
about
seen that.
jealousy. I'm
Yeah.
not like I don't like to like admit of jealousy that much, but I think that's like what the real intent of like our show is just basically to reach out and find out who has and where we can find one of these platypuses, so then that way we can you know we can experience
Well,
it
yeah.
firsthand.
What I really want to know is, does it have a key or not?
Does it have a what?
I want to know if it has a key.
Yeah, or is it like push to start? Oh, that would be
That's it.
crazy.
What I'm predicting is that it's gonna be like a fob, and then like once you get inside the vehicle, then you can just go because it's
Yeah.
partially electric. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I have
That would be the
I have a Volkswagen, and my Volkswagen is like that where it's push to start, and with my fob it's basically like it doesn't start unless I'm in the car. So,
right.
but yeah, yeah, and I heard it's got like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all of that in it
No
too.
shit.
So yeah. So have you worked at like any other stations other than yours? Because that's a new thing, or that's a thing that they do to like, especially with like newer employees. They'll like send you to like another station and
Has
like
that always been a thing?
what was that?
Has that always been a thing?
That's been a thing to me. They did that to me when I was the CCA, and they would send me to like other stations. And when I would go to other stations, it was always like, part of my French, but it was almost like an S show. It was just like very like it was everything. It just always seemed like where I was sent to. Like I thought like where I was working was like, oh man, this is it's a circus here. But then when they
Right.
would like when you would show up to another station, it was like a circus that was like on fire, and it was like it makes you like it's kind of like takes things for granted where you're like you're like, oh man, it really it's really poorly run here. But then you go to another place and you're like, please send me back to my main station. So have you gone to other stations?
Yeah, I've gone to virtually, I would say almost every station in the city of Columbus. I
Wow.
got when I started, I really started during peak season, like the start of peak season. So they abused me and they sent me
Yeah.
to virtually every station. And what I noticed is that they're all really the same, like in poor management and stuff like that. They're not much better.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
think that sucks to say.
I think like when you have like sister stations or like stations of like in the same district that are like kind of like connected to each other, they
Mm,
kind of all have like the same kind of mindset, or they have all the same kind of like philosophy at those. So when you do like get into like a zone or like an area, it does seem almost like inescapable because like when I worked in Reno, it was like it was, I mean, bottom tier. Let's just call it bottom tier, right? Like F tier. But then when I
mm.
went to like Seattle, it wasn't like S tier, but it was like, B, C, it's a little bit better run. But people, the thing is when I got to here to Seattle and I'd be hanging out with people and I'd be talking about like, and they hadn't experienced anything else, and so they think that this is the worst. I'm like, no dude, like you have no idea, like
You've got no idea, man.
you got no idea. So it's I guess maybe like it's like the same thing like a Reno type thing where it's like you have no idea, like go work in Columbus for a week and then come back to me, right?
And
So
let me ask something here because I'm a little ignorant on this. How many stations are there in a city like Columbus? I mean, I'm not sure how big it is, but I'm curious about how many different stations there are.
Dude, I gotta on the top of my head, I want to say there's like mm, there what 16 stations, maybe
And like
or
how big
maybe
is
14, 15.
how big is Columbus as a city?
Columbus is a pretty decently big city.
Okay. Like
I mean
100,000
outside
people
of
or so. I mean, give it roughly, you know.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, so
I
about
mean outside of like Cleveland, isn't that like the second biggest city in Ohio, or am
well, I
I
mean
like,
Cincinnati too.
oh yeah, Cincinnati, I
I
forgot
think
it.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like right up there. I mean, it has its own hockey team, so it's
Yeah.
out,
Oh yeah, Blue
outside
Jays.
of
Yeah.
outside of Jacksonville with the Jaguars. I think that's like if you got like a sports team like the Blue Jackets, then you're yeah, you qualify. You isn't that like close to Ohio State? Like the are
The
you
university?
yeah, are you what kind of allegiances do you have here?
Um,
Do you not have
Really,
any?
not really, no.
Yeah, okay, it's all
But
good. But in proximity, like I guess we could have like done more research before we got on this. But like where is Ohio State? Isn't I am I off base on this?
um, dude, to be honest with you, I don't go downtown very much. I'm
Really?
pretty far from downtown.
Are you from
I
Ohio or Columbus?
I'm from Ohio. I don't ever go downtown. But
Yeah, yeah.
if I'm thinking about it, if I'm thinking about where their stadium is compared to where the university is, I would say it's maybe like 5-10 minute drive,
Well,
Yeah, but
the
like
maybe.
Google
from
machine is saying that the address of the Ohio State University is 281 West Lane Avenue in Columbus, Ohio.
yeah. Okay, so I'm not I the whole reason I wasn't trying to like question you. This isn't a quiz here.
Right.
I was just wondering if from like word association. People say Columbus, Ohio, I think Ohio State. Like Ohio State is in Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
That
Jeff,
was the
Jeff, you
only
gotta
kind
say
of
the Ohio State. They're gonna
oh
get
god.
mad at you if you don't.
Then whatever. I have a guest on, so I'll do it. The Ohio State, but
Thank you.
anyway, so like to get back to what we're here for, uh, have you have any crazy stories? Like, what's your every mail carrier we bring on and that we're going to bring on, we got to do the crazy story segment. So, what's your crazy story as being a mail
Okay.
carrier?
I mean, I'm really trying to think. I don't have like a crazy story, like a story that's gonna make you think like, wow, that really happened. But I think the most wildest thing that ever happened to me while working here um was I had gone to ProMaster training. I didn't want to take ProMaster training, but my manager had forced me. I talked to him. I was like, I don't feel comfortable. Um, and I really like if I crash this, like, you know what, it's just gonna be on you. I don't want to do it. He's like, you got to do it. So I'll go do it. Anyways, I go up to City Gate where the training takes place,
Mm-hmm.
and midway through the training, my boss texts me, and she's like, you're on Route 3 when you're done. I said, what? I said, what? So I call her, and she's like, yeah, you're working today. You got all of Route 3, which is, by the way, one of the most difficult routes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't have anything on me. I'm like, what am I like? What do you want me to do? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, you go back to your house and come back here. And I was like, whatever. So the instructor had taken me all the way down a 30-minute drive down to my house. I had got my stuff, came back up, finished the training, whatever. And as I get to the station, everything like that. As I pull into the parking lot, she texts me. She says, "You got to go up to Eastland." I said, "No, no way." And I didn't know what to do. This was like my first 3 months, like my
Yeah.
first 3-4 months in. So I'm like, okay, I'm like I was furious, but I'm like, I gotta do it. So I go up there, and they put me on the route, and I go out and I complete like I think like 2 hours worth of work. It was like roughly 8 relays. Um, and their supervisor calls me. They're like, Trev, where are you? And I'm doing your route. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, you're not. So they had put me on the wrong side of the building, made me
Oh my
do
god.
2 hours of work. And then I didn't get done until like 8:30, obviously.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, so that was mine.
It's kind of like I was borrowing off of something earlier where it's like they kind of just throw you in, and it's like
Yeah.
they'll put you in training, and then they like, oh well, we need something covered today, so after you're done training, come in, carry this mail, and you're not even you're like in the middle of driving training, and they want you to carry mail. I had something similar to that when I was in Reno too, and it's like, you know it's just a thing that you kind of just gotta bend the knee and do whatever the heck
That's
they
so
ask.
bizarre too. It's like
Yeah,
how are they allowed to be so disorganized? I've never
yeah.
and honestly, I've never seen management of any company be so disorganized and dysfunctional. And
Well, I think
I
it's
don't
just, yeah. No, I think it
I
just
don't
follows up like up the chain to where like there's no accountability, so like,
Hmm.
there's no accountability so much, quote unquote, with us because of the union protects us. So it's like we're kind of we got that shell around us, and then
Right.
above us the supervisors, they, they're kind of like protected because the people above them in district and whatnot, like they don't know what it's like to be on the ground level. So like it kind of just, and it goes up higher and higher, and as it goes up higher and higher, it's there's no accountability as it goes higher. So then therefore there's no repercussions for poor performance or for poor planning, so it's kind of like, I don't necessarily like look at it like, oh well, like how is it, gotten this bad as far as like people doing it. It's just like, how has it gotten to like this level as far as like not like preparing,
Right.
there's proactivity and then there's reactivity. And I think the post office, and the thing I experienced the most is it's so reactive. It's constant reactive. It's like, oh, we got everything covered. We got everything covered. And like, oh crap, Route 3 is not covered. So let's call that guy that's like sitting in a ProMaster, like, an hour away, that needs to get, taken back to his house, and have
Yeah.
him come in and cover 3. And that's constantly every single day. And I've talked
Yeah.
about like, commitments where they have like this beautiful like fantasy island idea of like how everything is going to play out and everything is going to be under projected time and you're going to be doing this and this is awesome. But then,
Hmm.
when it actually hits the fan and you're like sitting there and you're like, hey, like, you know we have like 5.5 hours on still on the floor that still needs to be covered, and it's still sitting there at like 6 o'clock at night. Like, what are we going to do with this? So it's like
Right.
it's constant reactive as opposed to being proactive. I meant to ask, are you you're a city carrier or a PTF? That means that you're not a RCA, right, or a rural carrier, right?
Right. All right. Yeah. I work as a city carrier.
Yeah, I don't know how that, like, we're actually worked in stations where it was like split down the middle, where we had half rural and then half city.
That's
But I
interesting.
still, it still is kind of like the split of like fraternities of like, what are you in? Are you an RCA? Are you a PTF, right, or a city carrier?
Right.
So
Right.
trying to get to the end and wrapping this up, and I think once again, thank you for joining us, and you've been completely awesome here. So we're gonna. And do you have anything else, Griffin, that you want to
Oh, I
ask,
wanted to
or as far as
ask if you
questions?
had any
Yeah.
encounters with any dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I had a hold down for like 2 months, and I had literally every dog on that route that was like perfect, except this one dog, and it was this like 150 pound. I think it was a German Shepherd. Yeah, and I had it. It's on their house is on a dirt path, so I walk on the dirt path, and I'm at their door, and as I'm walking up to the door, the dog, this huge German Shepherd, just rushes around and pins me against this tree, and I'm like, oh, back up, back up, back up. He's not backing up. The owners come out and they're laughing at me. I said, I said, really, really,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my only encounter.
Yeah. Be like,
I didn't
dude,
get
you ain't
hit.
getting mail for quite some time after this.
I didn't deliver for like a week.
Yeah, I would. I would have already put them at like a notice where like, dude, you got to move your mailbox like to your neighbor's house, and I'll deliver your mail there. Like that would be my response. But no, I'm just playing. But that's like it's one of those things where, and the previous guest we had on had, yeah, it's, I tell you, man, this is way more universal. Like the dog bite and the dog issue is just, it's something where it's all like jokes and funny and comics and shows, and everyone thinks it's like this comical source of entertainment from people, and that's why the people come in, oh, ha 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 ha. But man,
Right,
like,
right.
walk a mile, right? So it's like, just find out what it's like to be a carrier, and then you wouldn't be so much laughing at that time. So Griffin, you got anything? That was a good question. Yeah, dogs.
I
I forgot
mean
about
that
dogs.
that was all I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Want to
my
say thank
final.
you, Trev, for coming on.
Yes.
Absolutely, dude. I appreciate you guys inviting me, dude. It was an honor, man.
I'm gonna do my final flavor question, and then we'll get you out of here. Okay. And once
Cool.
again, as a PTF or CCA, I know your schedule is way crazier, and just I've said that in the past. Like, from when I
Two
was a
months.
CCA to like even when later on, being converted and being like I used to be like a 204B or training to be a supervisor. Like, you guys are literally like the gems and like the real backbone of this company, and a lot of people don't give CCAs and new employees the real credit that you guys deserve, because it's like it, it's real quick that carriers will forget what it was like their first week or their first year of being a carrier. Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things I've experienced in employment, of being in my first year as being a mail carrier. So, but anyway, that's let's get to something that's probably not as important. And in Columbus is actually a little bit more relevant than I thought it was going to be. So, what would you rather deliver? Would you rather deliver in the snow with lots of stairs, or rainy with lots of hills?
So you gotta logically think about this. Now if it's rainy with a lot of hills, you're just going uphill. That's it.
Yeah.
But if it's snowy with a lot of stairs, you got those stairs that are you got the painted porches. You're slipping. That's an
Mm-hmm.
accident. So I think
Yeah.
I got to go with the rainy with the hills.
Yeah.
So
I've experienced both, and the thing about, you're absolutely right. There's no right answer when it comes to this one, or no wrong answer. Both of them suck.
hmm
But I the thing about the snow with lots of stairs, and that's just from, once again, personal. At least you have handrails, right?
got
when
snow
you
on them.
Yeah, when you're doing rainy with lots of hills, and this is Seattle, so we get this, and there's no handrails to catch you, So that's just, be careful, walk like a penguin. That's what they always like do, like the little like imagery, or like they have like little posters of like walk like a penguin, because just take your time out there as far as carriers go, be safe. There's
Right.
nothing more important than you going home and making it home to your family, So,
True, man. True.
but so you get a lot of snow up in Columbus, I imagine, right?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's super random. Like one week we'll have rain, and then the next week it'll be snowy.
Yeah.
This week it's 74 and sunny.
Ooh.
Last week it was like borderline like hurricane weather. Like it was
Wow.
terrible last week. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. And then it like snowed like 3 weeks before. So I don't even know
Wow.
anymore. So
That is
yeah.
that is that's the full gamut right there, if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, I have to
So
keep like multiple pairs of shoes in my truck every day in
yeah,
case the weather changes.
I have very similar in mine, especially when it gets towards the more colder seasons. I have like the boots, the snow boots that slide over your regular boots. I don't know if you've ever checked those out.
I wanted to try those. I didn't
Yeah,
know if they were useful or not because
yeah,
I
they
have
are. They actually,
my
they're way
boots aren't
more. Yeah,
my
yeah,
boots
way
aren't
more.
very good. So
Yeah, no, they work better than you think they would. Do you think that they're clunky and they look clunky and they look like they're gonna just like fall off your feet at like the first like clunk into like some snow? But it actually, they one, it's kind of like the thing that you think that's going to fail it actually makes it work better, because the snow actually pushes the like the snowshoe around your foot better. Whatever, we'll have you back on, and then we'll do like half a segment on snowshoes. How about that?
okay, man.
No, but
Sounds good.
just once again, just to wrap this up, just wanted to appreciate you coming on here, and this is exactly, like, couldn't define it more of how we want to do this show. We want to bring in people in from all around the country and give us all different types of like new to more like experienced, to different parts of the country, are very proud and very happy and very excited and thankful for you to come
And
onto
you
the
should
show.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you should be well, not that I came on, but that you're
Yeah.
going to
No, no,
in good
we're happy that you
pursuits.
did, and we're glad that we got you as one of the first guests on here. So we're gonna wrap up here. So once again, thank you for joining us, Trev, on Walk Like a Mailman. And after the break here, we'll definitely wrap up what's left of the episode. Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody, to Walk Like a Mailman post interview with Trev from Columbus, Ohio. So, how do you think the interview went? Your first interview, Griffin?
I thought it was good. I'm glad I got to
Yeah,
chime in with some questions this time around.
yeah, and just to wrap it up with a nice little bow. I want to send my thanks out to Trev. He's
Thank you,
definitely,
Trev.
yes, thank you very much. He was awesome as far as an interview goes. It was just a complete different creature than our first interview. Uh, do you agree, Griffin?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we literally had a guy like the first interview that had worked 25 years for the post office, and Trev felt like that he hadn't worked 25 days in the post office. Yeah, so like to get that kind of contrasting points of view from those two different people, it couldn't have been more of what I want as far as like this show goes. I want to offer like different perspectives from the different types of people, and see what they think and see what it's kind of like where you are, like what is that, like the thing on social media, it's like how it started and where I am, or where I am and how it started type deal, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we want to offer. But just in general, uh, Trev is a totally awesome guy, totally awesome, and it was great getting to know him. And I hope that he continues his career with the post office, because we could definitely use awesome people like Trev. But if not, I wish him the best in whatever endeavors that he partakes in. But just up until this point, I want him to know that I appreciate the service that he's provided, and the work, and being a part of the postal family. So
If you want to talk to us, reach out to us.
yeah, we want to definitely keep that going. We want it to progress, and we want it to evolve with the show. So yeah, if you want to either come on the show, or if you know someone that would love to do a spot on Walk Like a Mailman, email us at walklikeamailman@gmail.com. But yeah, so that was good times, and I'm glad that we could continue that segment as far as the interview and the guest spot goes. So
Jeff, don't mean to interrupt. Sylvester just ran into the corner. You know what that means. He must be hearing something.
oh
I think he's hearing a dog.
the underdog tally mark game. So last week, how did we do, Griffin, for
Oh,
last week?
I know I lost. I don't even remember who you picked, so I don't know if you
Yeah,
won or
no, we
lost.
both picked East Coast, New Jersey and New York teams, and we both lost. So that was how that went. So
I don't
yeah,
remember
last
whose
week,
turn it is to go first this time.
it is your turn.
It is my turn. I am gonna go with playoff hockey. I am going to take the Colorado Avalanche over the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay. Oh, Winnipeg. Yeah. Okay. Like that's a good pick. Playoff hockey is probably just a safe thing to bet. And last week, was viewing this, and I'm like, you know what? At the end of this, we're probably just going to end up like both pretty close to just 500. Just we're both going to be like 52 and 52. But yeah, so this week I'm going to pick the Mets. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do
You're taking the Mets today over the Dodgers?
Exactly. I am personal hedging.
Ooh, that is bold. I don't know if you're looking at the line on it. It's a minus 260 line for the Dodgers today with Oppenheimer on the mound, Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, but it's been a complete like landslide for them. So I feel like I need to do something, since I like completely like whatever I pick just blows up in my face on this show. So someone needs to help out my Doyers, and I'm going to step up to the plate, and I will do that. So I will either get a Doyers win tonight, or I will get a one step closer to the tally mark, like win. So.
And would we close out the tally mark game at the end of this calendar year versus like waiting an actual year? Because I would think it would be more appropriate to close it out of the calendar year.
We'll like do it like the actual. I
was
going to mention
like
that.
The end of the calendar year. It seems
but
like...
I did mention it on the show, and I believe the actual date was January 21st. And by the way, just in case you haven't like joined us at the beginning part of this tally mark game. So each week we make a pick, but the pick has to be an underdog for that week, and then we revisit it at each show. And then whoever has the most at the end of the year will get what we call a tally mark. We'll win the game. So
and we're picking outright winners. No covering the spread. They actually have to win the game. Yeah,
the spread, or like the point spread, just dictates who we can pick, but it has no effect on the actual like end of the game and whether or not we win that game. So we just have to pick a underdog, and then they have to outright win. So it's not too complex, and it's not like too like sports involved. So like to understand and to see like what we're trying to do here. But we just at the end of the show, we just try to give like our pick, and see how we can do as far as the end of the year. And once again, probably just gonna end up like 500, like a huge like wet fart on our ability to actually be consigliaries of sports here. So, but that was our show. Thanks, Trev, and to all of you out there listening, be safe, one foot in front of the other, carry that mail, and walk like a mailman. Mailman.
See you guys next week.
Walk like a mailman. Walk. Walk like a mailman. Walk. 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 Walk like a mailman. Walk like a mailman.